We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9. We have come to chapter 10 now. Does anyone remember what we read yesterday?
We read about Hare Krishna. We read about that how Lord Ram cut the Surpankh's ear and nose. And then Sukadev Goswami shows that Ramji shown by personal experience that attachment towards the material world is of no use. So Prabhupada say that about the spiritual side, that the Lord wanted to enjoy Vipralambha. It belongs to the Shringar Ras and love in the absence. So God has feelings and he's enjoying Vipralambha here. And the spiritual world is the highest bliss. This feeling in the spiritual world is very high, and also that he's a supreme person and he wants to experience this feeling of separation. That's why all this was happened. It was not like, and then we also learned that Prabhupada says that this pastime, he's displayed that when you are attached to your wife, you feel so much pain in the material world. But when she's lost in the spiritual world, this feeling is higher, like the Vipralamba feeling is higher in the spiritual world. And in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that many people and things, and I'm not ordinary human being, though he is a spiritual uh, platform always. Krishna is always on the spiritual platform. He's not an ordinary person like as people think always. And um, Ravan, we also read that the Ravan took the Maya Sita. It is mentioned in the Skanda Puran, and Prabhupada says that to women should be given, according to the Vedas, the women should be always given protection. And we learn that women should be protected by father, husband, brother. So like she should always be protected. We learn that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. And let's continue with today's verse.
Yes.
Dagvatmakritya hatakrityam ahan kabandanam
Dattvatmakritya hatakrityam aham
Bandham.
Sakyam vidhaya kapibhedayita gatim te
Sakyam vidhaya kapibhi daita gatim tahe.
Budva thavale nihate plavagendra senyer
Budva chabalini hate palvarandra sanye.
Velam agatsa manujo jabavar chitangrihi
Velam agatsa
agatsa manujoja bhavashitam griha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravan. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabanda, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Vali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. When Ravan kidnapped Sita, he was obstructed on the way by Jatayu, a large bird. But the powerful Ravan defeated Jatayu in the fight and cut his wing. When Ramchandra was searching for Sita, he found Jatayu almost dead and was informed that Sita had been carried off by Ravan. When Jatayu died, Lord Ramachandra did the duty of a son by performing the funeral ceremony, and then he made friends with the monkeys to deliver Sita Devi. We can see Jatayu, a very dear devotee of the Lord, he gave up his life to protect Mother Sita. And then, of course, he was not able to save her. And then Lord Ramchandra, he performed the funeral ceremony for Jatayu. Prabhupada is mentioning here, he did the duty of the son. Yadrosha Vipram Babivrita Tatakshapata
Yadro savipram
Vipram
taptakshapata
Vivratatakshipata
Sambranta Nakramakaro Bhayagir Nagoshaha
Sambrantanakrో Makarabhagirn Ghoshaha
Sindhu Shirasi Arhanam Parikriya Rupe
Sindhu Shirasi Arhanam Parigraha Rupi
Padaravinda Apagam Yababasha Etat.
Padarvindam
Ravindam
Upagamya Vabhash Etat
After reaching the beach, Lord Ramachandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. When the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger, and simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramachandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. So this part is very famous, everyone knows, right? Ocean did not come, Lord got angry, the living entities inside, all the fish inside, they were burning. They were
Hare
because he
Krishna.
is so angry. Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to add that if somebody doesn't know, because like how even our military is quoting the verses from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. So, like the Sena chief who explained everything, he quoted this verse from Sundarkand
Mm. Oh,
that we have waited
wonderful.
for very long, like waiting that they will when we speak nicely to the person and when we request, then he will do it nicely. But he said that without showing your anger, without showing your chivalry, there's nothing that you can achieve, like in this case.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then he
So this
quoted
was
Yeah,
this
quoted.
verse. Huh?
Yeah, he
the
quoted
Ah,
this verse.
yeah. The words was Jaldi Jad Gaye Beet 3 दिन गए बीत
Yeah,
बोले राम सकोप तब
Ram
भय
Sakut
कोई न
Bhaivan Hu Itna Preet. Yeah, he quoted this verse from the Ramayana. So, like, it's a very, very, like, how we wanted that, everything should be in sync with Vedas. So now it is in sync with our Shastras, how everything is happening.
very good. So
Yeah.
good. Okay, thank you. Na tvam vayam jadadiyo no vedam bhuman
Na
न
tvam vayam jad no vidam bhuman
bhutastam adi purusham jagatam adhisham
Kuta samadhi purusham jagatam adhisham
yatsat suragana rajasa prajesha
Yat
यत्सर्वगुरुताशु
sattvasurgana prajesha
Manayoscha bhuta pataya sabhavan gunesha.
Manayo Bhuta Pataya Sadhavan Guneshah.
All pervading Supreme Person, we are dull minded and did not understand who you are. But now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe. the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. The word Janadiya refers to intelligence like that of an animal. A person with such intelligence cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without being beaten, an animal cannot understand the purpose of a man. Similarly, those who are dull-minded cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when punished severely by the modes of material nature, they begin to understand Him. So just to how to train an animal, the animal is shown the stick, is beaten. We see the horses, they're beaten a bit uh, to control them. So here Sukadev Goswami is saying, we are being beaten by the modes of nature. That's when we understand. Oh, then we try to understand what's happening. What's happening? What's the truth? A Hindi poet has said, Dukha se saba hari bhaje, sukha se bhaje koi, sukha se agar hari bhaje, dukha ka kathan se hai. It's also very famous, right? When one is distressed, he goes to the church or temple to worship the Lord. But when opulent, he forgets the Lord. Therefore, punishment by the Lord through material nature is necessary in human society. For without it, men forget the supremacy of the Lord due to their dull and intelligence. So in happy times, we are forgetting the Lord. And that's the reason then the Lord has to give us some kind of suffering by the modes of nature, so then we can again come back to Him. Understand that this is not our home. We are thinking this is our home, but actually we need to give up all this childish play for us and go back home, back to Godhead. Did anyone want to add anything? Okay, going on. Kamam prayahi jahi vishvaso vameham
कामं प्रयाहि जहि विश्वस्य अवमेहम्
त्रैलोक्य रावणम अवाप्नुहि वीरपत्नी.
त्रैलोक्यरावणम् अवाप्नुहि वीरपत्नीम्
Magni hi setum ihate yashaso vityatye.
भग्नीः सेतु मिहिते यशसो विद्यते
Kayanti digvijayanoyam upetya bhupaha.
गायन्ति दिग्विजयिनो यमुपेत्य भूपः.
My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. He is the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like urine. Please go, kill him, and thus regain your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. It is said that a sun and urine emanate from the same source, the genitals. When a son is a devotee or a great learned person, the seminal discharge for begetting a son is successful. But if the son is unqualified and brings no glory to his family, he is no better than urine. Here Ravan is compared to urine because he was a cause of disturbances to the three worlds. Thus the ocean personified wanted him killed by Lord Ramachandra. One feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences. but to prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as God or elected by popular vote. He constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial God who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial God because he does not understand how powerful God is. Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge. And we accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. We should not accept any rascal as God or an incarnation of God, for God displays special features in his various activities. So Varun Dev is telling the Lord, okay, you please build a bridge, Although the Lord could have crossed it himself, he didn't need a bridge. But Varun Dev is saying, no, you build a bridge, so then everyone can understand that you are God. You're just making the stones float. How is that possible? You see our modern bridges, there is so much construction in it. There's so much, you have to put the foundation. It has to stand on something. The pillars are there, put inside the water, and then the bridge is made. But the Lord, He's simply making the stones float. So Prabhupada is explaining somebody just does some little uncommon activity and with some little magic we think he's God. That's not the criteria to choose God. God's activities are wonderful, uncomparable. No one else can do such things. Therefore, the Lord Himself says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma chame divyam, evam yoveti tattvataha, tyaktva deham punarjanma, naiti mameti swarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. We can see that this verse, Prabhupada, he keeps repeating it in his purports. It's so many times he quotes this verse to help us understand that Krishna's qualities, Krishna's appearance, they are all transcendental. And once we understand this, we can go back home, never to return back to this material world. The activities of the Lord are not common. They are all transcendently wonderful and not able to be performed by any other living being. The symptoms of the Lord's activities are all mentioned in the Shastras, and after one understands them, one can accept the Lord as He is. So by hearing more about the pastimes of the Lord, His incarnations, His expansions, by by discussing more about His pastimes, then the more we can understand, oh wow, He's really great. There's no one greater than God. The more we hear about Him, discuss about Him. Is that okay? Any comments?
This verse is from chapter 4, right? Bhagavad Gita
Yeah, 4.9.
9.
Yeah, very famous verse, a nice verse to memorize. And
Yes.
and we can see Prabhupada is repeatedly quoting this verse. So many times, so many purports he's mentioning this verse. Try to understand that Krishna is God. Pastimes and his appearance is transcendental, spiritual, not like us. He's God.
Then you can go back home, back to Godhead, no? You won't need to return back this material world.
Yeah, you can go back home, back to Godhead. So because, people may try different processes of liberation, going to the spiritual world. But here, this is the easiest process. Hearing
Yes,
about, it's easiest hearing about Krishna, his pastimes, his incarnations. By hearing, by discussing about his pastimes, by understanding he's God, we can just go back home to the spiritual world.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we can
And
see
I
this
think
is
that
actually
is
the easiest process.
and I think that is only the reason, because his pastimes are so transcendental that every time we hear, it is not like, we never think it's boring. We get to learn something new every time we hear. Though we have heard it so many times, we have read so many times the Krishna book, but still every time we read, because it's transcendental, so it's new. हमें वो वैसा
Yeah,
ही नया लगता है, और
yeah,
we learn something out of it. It is so blissful every time we read it.
yeah, it's true. It's true. You know what you say. That sometimes when you read, then if I'm reading again, I'm like, really? I never read that before,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's so true. So
and it
true. And then,
registers in our mind more, like, I feel. Because when you reread it second time or you hear about it, then more like, you remember, at least I feel. That's only
yeah,
first
it's
one time
true.
only we read it will not, go in our head. So like we won't remember it.
Yeah,
We
it's
read it.
true.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, what you say is right. Yeah. So that we can keep rereading, and when we discuss it with each other, then also, we can understand a bit more, remember a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
So
wanted.
the Lord's Katha, right, is very, very important. We have to keep hearing
Krishna Katha.
Krishna
Yeah,
Katha. Yeah.
yeah, that's what. And by hearing and chanting about Krishna, Krishna Katha, we go back home, back to Godhead.
So every day we must do this. Like this should be our priority, part of our life. That every day we must chant and hear, right? Hear, chant.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Regularly, every day. Make it a priority. Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. My count is increased as sometime 8, sometime 10.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, 8 is
Very
fixed.
good.
Like 8 I
It
did
is
every day.
fixed
Yeah,
now.
fixed.
Ah,
But
now,
maybe
very good.
two round more, sometime 3 round more, like depends upon my uh, time. But 8
Oh,
is fixed. Yeah,
so see, very good. Very good.
yeah,
8 is fixed, and sometimes you can do 10, then
yeah.
gradually you can fix to 10. So
Mm.
gradually, slowly. Very good. Very encouraging to hear that. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर
jai,
भक्त वृंद की जय. हरे
jai.
कृष्णा. Thank you all.